those strivers who cross the Rio Grande because we want our kids to know a better life. That's how we came to be. We're the slaves who built the White House and the economy of the South. 50 years from Bloody Sunday. Our march is not yet finished.
All right, joining me now, civil rights attorney Leo Terrell, Fox News contributor DeRoy Murdock. I think I've told you this story. When I lived in Atlanta, I got to meet a lot of these incredibly courageous, brave men that put their lives on the line for civil rights in this country, including John Lewis and Joseph Lowery, the SCLC, and Hosea Williams became a good friend of mine, and I knew Maynard Jackson and Andrew Young, all people I interviewed over the years. I really applaud them. These guys were incredibly brave, courageous, and made the world a better place, including Martin Luther King Jr. I guess the question I have is, with this president, these comments coupled with 3 high-profile race cases he injects himself into without any evidence in he's wrong, Ferguson, Trayvon, and Cambridge police. What is your thoughts as you put it all together?
Well, I think this was a very historical occasion, and commemorating it was perfectly appropriate. I saw the film Selma. I recommend it to anybody who wants to get some of the background on this. I agree with what he said insofar as we have people who come to this country, Holocaust survivors, former slaves, people coming in from all around the world to make this country what it is. I think that's
Is he making race relations better or worse when he jumps into these other cases?
I think it's fine to talk about all the different streams that create America, the Great American River, such as it is today. But I do think there are many things this president and the Attorney General, people like Al Sharpton, have done that have made this much more contentious racial situation than anything I've seen in my lifetime. You pointed out the cases of Eric Garner and Ferguson, Missouri, and so on. I think it's very interesting we find out in these cases over the last few weeks that the Department of Justice has decided not to engage in civil rights actions against Officer Darren Wilson. They're not going to pursue anything against George Zimmerman in the Trayvon Martin case, and then apparently nothing in the Eric Garner case. And these were held up as examples of white cops killing black people, and now it turns out there's nothing racial about this.
The way I've been saying it, the president's really a 3-time loser on high-profile race cases in the country. He was wrong on the Cambridge police acting stupidly, wrong on Trayvon Martin. The constitutional attorney rushed to judgment without hearing the evidence. Same thing in Ferguson, rushed to judgment without hearing the evidence. And you could even say a 4-time loser if you include Al Sharpton being at the White House some 90 times. Not exactly somebody that's the great racial healer that he claims to be. So how does a president be so wrong so often? A constitutional attorney, no less.
I cannot believe that you have a guest like Mr. Murdoch and yourself are talking about this situation in such a negative manner when in Oklahoma, a bunch of white privileged kids use the N-word about people
Leo,
like
you didn't
me.
answer my question.
I see how you, just the mere fact that you brought that man in here, Mr. Murdoch, to basically say whatever you want is amazing. Why don't you talk about Oklahoma today, Sean Hannity? Mr. Murdoch, you have embarrassed yourself.
Wisconsin.
I denounced what that fraternity did in Oklahoma. They should have done what they did. That was wrong. I'm glad that the university's gone after them for their
situation in Oklahoma today.
Leo, let the Roy talk.
Yeah, look, I was under the impression we were going to talk about the Selma March, the commemoration of Bloody Sunday.
We're talking about racism. We're talking about how Selma has not resolved everything.
I agree with you. What that fraternity did was wrong. I believe they've been decertified.
Why did you bring it up?
You brought it up. I didn't bring it up. We were talking about Selma. We're talking about the Selma March. I was asked by Sean, the anchor here, a question about Selma. I answered a question about Selma. If he'd asked about Oklahoma, I would have answered about Oklahoma. You brought up Oklahoma, and I didn't. I agree with you. I denounced what the fraternity did. The university was correct. It was correctly certified. I don't disagree with you on Oklahoma. So you're yelling at me about a disagreement that I don't have with you.
Leo, you got to calm down. You didn't answer my question.
I'm asking you.
Hang on. You didn't answer my question. I'm going to ask it again.
Why don't you and I go to Oklahoma?
The president, maybe I will, but I agree with, I'm with you and DeRoy. We're not disagreeing.
We all agree on this.
We all agree on this.
There's no disagreement
and similarly, we're going to follow the case in Wisconsin where a black teenager was shot who was unarmed by a cop, and we'll follow the story, except I won't rush to judgment like the president did in Cambridge, in the Trayvon case, and in Ferguson. Why won't you address the fact that the president's been wrong on these high-profile race cases?
let me respond, Mr. Hannity.
I'm waiting.
Let me respond, Mr. Hannity.
Finally.
You have articulated that the president was wrong on Ferguson by ignoring the Department of Justice report regarding the pattern and practice of discrimination in the Ferguson Police Department and the court system.
He was wrong on Darren
that.
Wilson.
You have not spent 1 second on it.
He was wrong.
You won't mention that.
He was wrong on Darren Wilson.
Do you deny
Was he wrong on
discrimination existing
Trayvon
in
Martin?
Ferguson?
Did we not have an eyewitness in that case? There was, in
you read the
Ferguson, there was no
Department of Justice
hands
report?
up, don't shoot. That never happened. That never happened.
You are ignoring the racist emails and all
said
the negative discriminatory
I condemn the racist emails. I agree with you.
I said on this show,
okay.
I said
And
on this
Mr.
show back in
Murdoch
the
said
fall,
nothing about
on this show in the fall, I denounced the police in Ferguson for using all kinds of
profiling emails,
jaywalking violations, parking
You have
violations,
not-
basically to raise money.
You're
And I
only
said
talking
that, I said
about it,
part of
Mr.
the
Murdoch,
racial,
because I'm
part of the
challenging
racial
you.
tension in Ferguson was the police department targeting black folks and using them as a way of raising money. I said that was wrong. The whole controversy was revolved around the notion that Darren Wilson was a racist white cop who shot Michael Brown because of racism.
Darren Wilson was the lightning
The
rod.
Department of Justice
Darren Wilson was
decided
the
just
lightning
last
rod
week
case.
not to follow
And the
not to
public-
Guys, we're out of
civil
time.
rights
I'm
charges against
going to let DeRoy have the last word.
White
Shame
racism
on
we
you,
learned about
Mr.
isn't there.
Murdoch. Shame on you.
I don't know where we disagree. We disagree on everything.
We're not
I
disagreeing.
agree on everything. Why do you shame on me and when I'm agreeing with you?
I know. I don't
How
get it.
bizarre. Very strange.
Very strange.
Very
Coming up
strange.
next tonight on Hannity.
Even in these times of sometimes heated disagreement, I think it's useful to remember who your ally is and who your enemy is.
A chilling warning from Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. But will the U.S. stop negotiating with this rogue regime in Tehran? I doubt it. But coming up, we'll check in with Texas Governor Rick Perry. He's here to explain why a deal with Iran could jeopardize Israel and the U.S. security. And later, protests in Madison, Wisconsin after a police officer kills a black teen who allegedly struck him in the head. He was unarmed. We'll check in with Milwaukee County Sheriff David Clark. He's here to respond to more.
Great, another wedding. Then I'm a bridesmaid in 3.
Oh,
It's okay. I've joined 14 online dating sites.
14? Is one of them eHarmony?
I don't have time for all those eHarmony questions.
Beth, do you want fast or forever? Only eHarmony.com takes the time to find you that perfect someone.
Another invite. Oh, and here's the dress.
eHarmony.com. Stop waiting. Start communicating for free today.
You owned your car for 4 years. You named it Brad. You loved Brad. And then you totaled him. You two had been through everything together. 2 boyfriends, 3 jobs. You're like, nothing can replace Brad. Then Liberty Mutual calls. And you break into your happy dance.
If you sign up for Better Car Replacement, we'll pay for a car that's a model year newer with 15,000 fewer miles than your old one. See car insurance in a whole new light. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Okay, so this is me. I use artificial tears often. But when my eye doctor said I had a disease, that got my attention. You have a disease called chronic dry eye, caused by reduced tear production due to inflammation. I do too. I use Restasis, cyclosporin ophthalmic emulsion. Is Restasis different from artificial tears? Yes, because artificial tears give temporary relief, but only Restasis helps make your own tears. With continued use, 1 drop in each eye twice a day, every day. Restasis helps increase your eye's natural ability to produce tears, which may be reduced by inflammation due to chronic dry eye. Restasis did not increase tear production in patients using anti-inflammatory eye drops or tear duct plugs. To help avoid eye injury and contamination, do not touch the vial tip to your eye or other surfaces. Contact lenses should not be worn within 15 minutes of using Restasis. The most common side effect is a temporary burning sensation. Make your eyes a priority. Go to Restasis.com to take the dry eye quiz. Then call your eye doctor to get screened and ask about Restasis. Make more of your own tears.
Do you need inspiration and motivation to reach your dreams in life? Are you trying to overcome discouragement? Do you desire a deeper spiritual walk with God? Do you question your destiny? Then the Persistence Works book series by the prolific author and international speaker Dr. Vincent N. Paul is written for you and is now available in paperback, audiobook, and ebook. Order today by calling 866-909-2665 or go online, persistenceworks.com.
Introducing IHOP Crisp Croissants. I've never